Hello everybody, time for a review of one of my favorite games, Ghost of Tsushima. Played on the PlayStation 5, it's one of the greatest games I've ever played. And not just because you can pet foxes, which is very nice on its own. But you'll see in the following 10 minutes or so why I think Ghost of Tsushima is one of the greatest games ever made. For example, look at all this scenery we have here. Here I'm on my way to a shrine. The charms will give you fighting advantages. You can attach them to your armor and have different buffs. From better damage to recovering more arrows and lots of different stuff. On the PlayStation 5 we have a fidelity and a performance mode, as well as a black and white Kurosawa style samurai movies mode. Players can choose to play as an old samurai movie even without subtitles if you know Japanese. And not to mention the musical score. It's very well chosen, especially when fights begin. The music becomes more entertaining and blood pumping. The traversal part of Ghost of Tsushima is one of the things I think it could have been done better when you are trying to go to get to the top of these shrines. You can't always cling to the next ledge nor jump properly. Luckily, every time you fail, you are going to be respawned very near. And here I finally arrived to the top of the shrine and get my deserved charm and a nice view of the surroundings from a vantage point. In the base game, all shrines are on top of some mountain or cliff, and you see the surroundings here are near the sea. And recover one kunai. This is a very useful charm because kunai will get you out of most battles in one piece. They can paralyze most enemies except the boss fights, which you can't really fight with ghost weapons. You just need to rely on your sword on the boss fights. Here we see Jin running through a snowy mountain peak. It's to the north of the island. It's just like Japan, where in the north it's snow and cold. And upper still, so we can have a bird's eye view of some parts of the island. And you see these gusts of wind that appear from time to time will really guide you to the next objective. Of course, you set it on the map, but instead of showing you an arrow, they will just send a gust of wind to where you need to go. I found that very intriguing and very interesting. One particular aspect I think you're going to love in Ghost of Tsushima are the stories. Most stories are very touching, some will even make you cry, I think. Jin will often be faced with very heavy moral choices, and you, the player, will have to choose from both negatives. For the first time, we see Jin in action fighting using his bow. Here we see Jin Sakai in Ghost mode. It's one of the most powerful modes in Ghost of Tsushima. You will only acquire it later in the game. It grants you the ability to kill 3 enemies with one single blow, without retaliation. But of course this is not the only arsenal that Jin possesses. Like you saw now, I have used the kunai. Kunai is another useful weapon because will render most enemies useless. And of course here I had some help from the armor. Get into ghost stance easier by defeating a fewer number of enemies. This one that I executed here was another powerful move that will require 3 from your concentration gauge. And of course you can use arrows, exploding arrows, flaming arrows, perfect parries, perfect dodges. I really like the fighting style. It's very brutal and it feels like a real battle. I don't know how to put it. It really feels like a real sword fight. Very well implemented by Sucker Punch. Now we're visiting a bit of Iki Island. If you have the director's cut or the DLC, you have a whole new island to explore. Is equally beautiful with more challenges that await. And of course, you'll need to try this too. In conclusion, this game deserves the perfect 10 out of 10 rating. And with these beautiful images of colorful flowers, even if it's raining. Oh, by the way, Jin is able to change the weather even if he isn't able to change the time of day, but you can still fast travel and make time fly. Thank you for watching this presentation. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button. Bye bye. Oh, also be sure to check out my gaming blog, schiller19gaming.com, and my other more indie-oriented channel, Schiller19.